And indeed, as you may have noticed, our bulletin tonight is focusing on matters security, and the Interior Ministry is embarking on a rapid results initiative program to try and make security a lot better in this country. And tonight we're joined by Joseph Lenku, who's the Cabinet Secretary in the Interior Ministry. Thank you for joining us this evening. Let's start by talking about the RRI program and its intended purposes. What deliverables and tangibles the Kenyan will be able to get from this?
You notice that on 21st of September last year, terrorists walked into Westgate, killed people, maimed others, and hurt our country. From that day, the game changed. We are more than ever determined to get these terrorists, and we will get them. We are pursuing them in our borders, outside our borders, wherever they may be. And as we sit here, a number of Kenyan men and women are in Somalia, are in every corner of this country to get these terrorists. Okay. The RRI initiative is basically to reduce crime, to deal with terrorism, to look at the issuance of our travel documents, to deal with the issue of police reforms, and a number of activities and events that are meant to reduce crime in this country.
Okay, what tangibles will the ordinary citizen start to see once this is put in place? Because like you mentioned, in the country today, terrorism is the biggest threat to security in the country.
A number of tangible already feasible happening. One, you're seeing our efforts to reform the National Police Service through the vetting exercise. We have already issued the guidelines for County Policing Authority. This is basically to enhance community policing in line with the Nyumba Kumi framework. These initiatives are meant to make it easy for Kenyans to deal with the police, to work with the police. We know it is easy for a group of Kenyans or individuals to approach police and make their demand, as opposed to individual people. So on that front, we are happy that reforming the police is an ongoing exercise. Okay. We have started in earnest, and we are sure it's going to yield result. A number of current information we are getting are from Kenyans. Close to 50% on information leads are from citizens, but we want to improve that.
Okay.
We want the citizens to identify they have a role to play in enhancing security amongst themselves.
All right, and we'll get to some of those issues in just a moment, what the citizens can do to assist. But while you're here, it would be important for us to talk about some of these security threats we've had in the country recently. Most recently is the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport recently. And what really happened? We heard first of a light bulb, and then we've heard of a bullet-riddled body that was in a vehicle in Shaurimoyo with, explosives in that vehicle. It was rather unclear what happened at the JKIA.
I think for us to look at the KIA, we need to look at the event at a slightly higher level. Rather than us dealing with the bulb, let us deal at the event of terrorism itself. Here was an attempt terrorist attack, but it was foiled. I think we will do country justice and our security people to show and to say that while the attempt was made, they acted fast enough to prevent it from happening. The individuals killed were actually terrorists who attempted to attack the airport. And therefore, the bulb event at this level, I would like to look at it at a higher level, that this was an attempt terrorist attack, but it was foiled. I think I want to recognize and appreciate the effort of our security personnel who foiled the attack.
So what happened at the JKIA was a terrorist attack that you say was foiled by the security forces.
It was an attempted terrorist attack.
All right, let's get to then communication issues within the Ministry of Interior. And when it comes to crises such as this one, why would we be so quick to rush to the media when we hear from the Inspector General to say it's a light bulb when it turns out it's a terrorist attack and then there's a body somewhere else? Because incidents like these, Mr. Secretary,
who rushed to
confuse
the media, Vyonne?
Well, the Inspector General did say it was a light bulb and, that fell into a bucket, and then that caused a fire that was there when indeed it was a terrorist attack.
Do you want to look at the bulb, or do you want to look at the efforts of the officers who foiled the attack?
We're looking at the information that is given to the public and how that makes them feel safe and secure.
For me, at the policy level, I would like to see it as a foiled terrorist attack. And to me, on that, I want to appreciate the officers who preempted it and who stopped it from
That's
happening.
right. But it is a very important process, especially when you're trying to get the public in on initiatives like the Nyumba Kumi initiative. Let's talk about that. When information is not forthcoming in the right way and we see statements being changed, then the public start to feel unsafe, and then they start to think, well, do the security forces know what they're dealing with?
I think when we launched the task force on Nyumba Kumi, headed by the very able Joseph Kagodi, the response from Kenyans has been overwhelming in a positive perspective. But of course, we had to go back to the drawing board and put structures in place for people to share. You must understand that this is really a philosophy. It is not about 10 people. It is about asking Kenyans that when you are living in an environment, you need to know the people you are living with. You need to know people or happenings around your environment, because terrorists and criminals are not ghosts. These are individuals who live with us.
Indeed.
And therefore, we are telling Kenyans, please know your environment. Please know the people you live with. And when we do that, we think a number of Kenyans have positively accepted this, and I think it's really a positive thing.
Do you think
we
so?
We have just circulated to all the county commissioners the framework in which we want the Nyumba Kumi to operate. Well, we are calling it Nyumba Kumi. It's really not about 10, and therefore, gradually but surely, it is taking root.
Okay, let me ask about that, because in the villages it will be the elders that will sort of bring the people together. But in the urban centers, many people are asking, so how is this going to be effected? How will the Nyumba Kumis be brought together?
I think it is even in the urban centers that it has gotten roots. If you look at a number of estates in Nairobi, they have what they call gated estate. And a number of them are actually telling us, come and see the model we already have. So even before we launch this, citizens have already noticed they have a collective responsibility to their security. And therefore, in the cities, it is actually more organized, more structured than you would otherwise. But we are saying there's no single way of doing it. It depends really on the environment, because look at the cities. So there is
no structure that we will get from the government where somebody will come and help.
These are the guidelines.
Okay.
Once we get the guidelines, then the environment dictates how it is going to be implemented.
All right. How will this work, considering community policing in the past has not been very successful? People do not feel that they are secure enough to give information to the police when they see suspicious activity happening.
You must accept that since independence, there has never been reforms in the police. We have just begun these reforms, and they started a few years ago. We are entrenching those reforms. Gradually, Kenyans are building confidence in the police, and people are starting to feel comfortable to deal with the police. And therefore, the Constitution provides for the county policing authorities. It is actually intended to provide a framework in which the citizens deal with the police and work together. So I think as we now move forward reforming this police service, Kenyans will start identify and see that police are their friends and partners in security. That way they will not fear. Before, there was no mechanism to engage. Now, the Constitution has provided for that mechanism.
Okay.
For us, it is to implement that, to entrench it, and to ask Kenyans to accept it.
All right, and we do hope that those reforms will also help with the law. And we've just aired a story about fake receipts being issued by police officers in Eldoret, on the Eldoret-Nakuru highway. So for a lot of Kenyans, that mistrust between the police and the citizens.
From me, we have a great police force. We have a few rotten apples in their midst. We are already weeding them out. We can already feel, we can see, a number of Kenyans are developing confidence with their police. And with these reforms, the police are going to be friends of the people, and Kenya is going to be a secure country.
Okay, I'd like to keep you here with us for just a while longer because we have a story talking about the state of security, and this is something Joy Doreen Bera put together, just talking about the challenges facing the Interior Ministry. Watch this, and then we'll be back with the Cabinet Secretary.
The Interior Ministry is preparing for the launch of the Rapid Response Initiative in the face of challenges bedeviling the nation's security.
Be vigilant about suspicious individuals who may be having intentions of getting involved in terrorist activities.
With Mombasa, Garissa, Nairobi and even Bungoma struggling with both terror-related activity and local crime, the security agencies have their hands full.
Hata leo asubuhi kuna mama ametoka huko na pistol anakimbia naye kwa mkono na mguu tupu, na mapolisi wako pale na amepita naye hivyo hivyo, ameenda mpaka sijui aliendea wapi, na alikuwa naye kwa mkono. Kwa hivyo mimi naona upande wa security bado tuko nyuma kabisa.
Watu wako 50-50, wananchi na polisi. Ukipiga simu pia hawaji kwa haraka, yani watu sasa haieleweki.
But analysts say it's time the ordinary citizens played their part too.
The public must be aware that this country is ours, so that it's a responsibility of all of us, at least to safeguard and make a secure place for Kenya.
While community policing remains a major challenge among national security agencies, it is alleged that internal wrangles within these national agencies is an even much bigger problem.
By the time they are going to realize this insecurity is too late. And yes, when the things out of hand, they work together, all the security apparatus, including the police, the GSU, the AP, the military. At that time, it's things are out of hand. So what I'm saying is, in order to have, it's a collective responsibility. Both the government machineries and the public work together.
Initiatives like Nyumba Kumi are some of the mechanisms put in place to curb crime in the country, but the perceived laxity from citizens to voluntarily monitor their surroundings is a challenge too. Joy Doreen Bira, KTN Prime.
Thanks for that, Joy. Let's carry on with our conversation. Like you've seen in that clip, it's just talking about the challenges of community policing. Again, let's go to how different the Nyumba Kumi initiative will be. And again, I will emphasize building trust between police and the citizens to the point where they feel they can come to the authorities and give information.
Yvonne, about 3 days ago, we had a meeting called by religious leaders, particularly the Muslim from all sections of the Islam religion. And these leaders called for a forum to discuss about criminal activities being perpetuated in the mosque, in the country, in the name of the region. A number of them, or rather the forum was called because they noticed that individuals are hiding under religion to commit crimes. They came out very powerfully to say that this is not Islam. Some criminals have actually taken over mosques, took control over the mosques, and displaced genuine imams. We came out, we joined them, we supported them, and we continue to support that initiative. That is an indication of citizens saying enough is enough. For many time, or for a long time, this radicalization seemed to focus on Islam and alleged marginalization, alleged mistreatment, and alleged that. The Muslims came out, genuine ones, and say, this is not Islam. These are individuals trained on a very narrow line of Islam, radicalized, and meant to come and cause mayhem. And they said no. A number of European missions sponsored the workshop. The Interior Ministry came in to support. I gave a speech myself, so is the Inspector General and the Principal Secretary in the ministry, showing the Muslims are now coming to join us to fight these radicalizations. We are very, very happy about that development because it removed the perception that Muslims are untargeted. They're not.
Okay.
They're Kenyans.
So you've given an example of areas in which it is working. I just want to read for you some feedback that we're getting on our bulletin tonight. Brian Achila says, to win public perception and gain acceptance, you have to win hearts and be truthful. You cannot cry wolf and still want to be respected. Going back again to communication, do you believe that communication of information during a time of crisis, being timely, being truthful, of course we understand there might be some things that may be on a need-to-know basis that you may not share everything, but in certain cases just telling citizens this is what is happening and this is what we're doing about it, do you think that could be part of the ways in which to win citizens over to assist the police?
This is my assurance to Kenyans. For a long time, the Ministry of Internal Security, as it was called before, would not give sufficient information in the name of security or for security reasons. we have deliberately come out open to share with Kenyans what really we feel is useful for
But
Kenyans
sometimes,
to know.
Mr. Secretary, it is not always truthful.
Let it not be assumed that we have anything to hide. We are very, very honest about the security of our country.
Let me put it
is
this
something
way.
very dear to us.
I know, I understand that. Allow me to interject. Let me put it this way. It's not that you're not forthcoming. Sometimes it just doesn't seem like the Interior Ministry knows what's happening. We have one statement, we have a conflicting one. Many will remember you for the statement regarding mattresses at the West Gate, and then it turned out to be something else. We're hearing of light bulbs, but it just sometimes seems from the communication strategy
I
that
think
even the ministry doesn't know what's going on.
while communication can be dealt with and will be dealt with, I think it is important also for you, the media, to up the game. Why would you want to focus about a bulb rather than a foiled terrorist attack? I think really
Because
the bigger picture,
that's not about the media, it's about the person that actually said it, and the Inspector General tweeted it himself.
The bigger picture for me is at the policy level. While I respect the Inspector General, but you must understand at which level am I operating. I'm operating at the policy.
But he operates under
At this policy level, I am personally delighted that our officers were able to foil the terrorist attack.
Okay.
And they have done so many a times. Let me assure Kenyans, including my brother who just tweeted, we will faithfully give you correct information to the best of our knowledge.
Okay.
And we want you to become partners with us in this.
All right.
And therefore, be assured that we will not hide anything in the name of security unless it is really for your good, that we keep it so that we deal with it.
Okay.
But
All
we
right.
will be truthful to you. We are your servants as public servants, and we will share with you the information we think is useful for you to know.
Okay, all right.
Take the assurance we are doing everything possible, and we are already seeing actually crime reducing. I know that may not be very believable, but let's watch it happen.
Okay, I have to leave it at that with you tonight. We thank you so much for making the time, and we do wish you the best with the Rapid Results Initiative as you launch that in the coming days.